In this video, we'll talk about an important topic, the general mental ability. We'll briefly look at the history of how it has been measured and how it is connected to success at work. Mental ability tests have been used for over 100 years, and during this time, scientists have gathered useful knowledge and developed clear methods that make these tests more reliable. When you hear the word intelligence, who do you think of? What kind of person seems intelligent to you? In psychology, the word intelligence is used to talk about a person's overall thinking ability. It does not mean just doing well in school or remembering facts. Instead, it means being able to understand things, adapt to new situations, and see how different events are connected to each other. Intelligence is something that we cannot see or measure with a ruler. It's an idea, a construct that includes many mental skills that help us deal with everyday life. There is no single definition of intelligence that everyone agrees on. However, many researchers have studied mental abilities in different ways. For example, Francis Galton believed that intelligence runs in families and is partly inherited. That means some parts of intelligence are passed down from parents, but learning and life experiences are also very important. Raymond P. Cattell talked about two types of intelligence. They talked about fluid intelligence, which is the natural ability to solve new problems and think logically, and you're born with this skill. And Cattell talked about crystallized intelligence, the knowledge and skills you learn during your life. This is something that is culture specific and related to your education. An example of a test that measures fluid intelligence is Raven's matrices, which show how well a person is able to solve different sort of abstract problems. The first modern intelligence test was the Binet-Simon test, made to help assess if children needed special education or not. It compared the child's mental level with what was expected for their age. To understand what intelligence is made of, scientists use different sort of methods. These are called psychometric methods, for example. One of the most famous theories is by Charles Spearman, who said every mental task uses two things: a general mental ability, which is called the chief factor, and a specific ability needed for each specific task, called the S factor. In tripods tests, we also look at different abilities like verbal reasoning, or the way how you analyze textual information, numerical reasoning, which is working with numbers, with numerical information, spatial reasoning, understanding the shapes and the ability to see parts as a bigger whole, logical reasoning, or making decisions based on the information that is given. The test gives a score for each part, and the general mental ability score is calculated from the average of all of these subtests. Many studies show that general mental ability is strongly linked to success at work. There is a clear connection between how intelligent someone is and the type of job that they can do well. The more complex and challenging the job, the more important the general mental ability becomes. For example, to succeed in a top-level law firm, you need to have high general mental ability. But for simpler jobs, if you are a baker or you work in security, it is not as critical. Mental abilities help you with learning quickly or analyzing new information, making decisions, solving problems. But of course, intelligence is not the only thing that matters. People also need good communication skills, stress management, emotional intelligence, and so on, and a positive attitude to succeed, motivation, and so on. Studies show that higher intelligence is also linked to better life outcomes, such as longer life, lower risk of diseases like heart problems and cancer, lower risk of divorce or suicide, Why? Because people with higher intelligence often make better health choices and they're able to solve life problems more effectively and sometimes quickly. Tripod's general mental ability tests measure verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, spatial reasoning, and logical thinking. The tests are completed in a quiet room using a computer. Test takers can use tools like a paper, a pen, and a calculator. The goal is to measure how well someone can understand and process different types of information. So this was a quick and a high-level introduction to intelligence. In the next part, we'll explain how to interpret the test results of tripod tests and how to use them when selecting candidates. Thank you.